So you started based on your LinkedIn, you started as a network engineer, but that's not actually how you got into IT, where how you started your professional, your first steps in IT, right?
Yeah, that's true. Basically, back in 2002, I was 17, 18 years old, where I finished Microsoft certifications.
Mm,
I was MCSA on MCSE, and that's exactly why I started. I applied for a job
mm,
as a Windows Server team leader,
mm.
and basically I got accepted, but I couldn't take the job because I didn't finish my military 2 years services. So this point I thought, okay, I cannot get the good job, so let me finish that because I will need that for next job offer anyway.
Is it
So I went,
mandatory in your country?
yeah. In Iran, it's mandatory.
Okay.
So the 2 years passed, and after that, obviously the job was gone. I didn't apply for any new job,
Mm.
and I started to thinking of my own company. So
You open your own company.
yeah. So I started my own company, and we were like me and two of my friends. We were servicing small fabrics and small offices, like supporting up to 25, 30 computers. One
Mm.
of them was doing network. I was just administrating Windows. And that in that moment,
Okay.
maybe it's nice to mention, or it's interesting to mention why I didn't go for a networking back then.
Mm.
I remember I wanted always to go for networking, and my trainer, he was a genius person, but he told me you're not good enough. You won't have any future in networking. So I didn't even think of going for CCNA back then.
So you were around like 17 or 16 by the time he told you that.
Yeah, exactly. So it was when I was at last class of high school, and
Okay.
also learning Windows Professional, Windows Server 2000 was there back then.
Okay.
So I just accepted it. I was young, so I
Yeah.
thought I should use experience from senior trainer.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna even try learning networking.
Okay. Okay. And 2 years later, you with 19, around 19ish,
Yeah, I was
20,
20. I was about 20.
20, you decided to open your own company back officially with documentation. Just grab your friends and we're going to provide this kind of service.
Yeah, I had two friends back then. We
Mm.
were also studying Windows together. So we started this company. It was like on one part of it was providing, I don't know if it was also here like a game net or coffee net.
Mm.
We have the small room where people could come and use internet.
That's used to call cyber something,
Yeah,
cybernet, cyber something, but I understand what you're saying. It
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
exist, and it probably doesn't exist anymore right now because everyone
Yeah,
has
it
internet
was.
access, right?
Exactly. Back then, everybody, like, it wasn't like everybody has the internet at
Yeah,
home.
yeah,
And, those old 56 modems,
yeah. No way, no way.
it was hard even to make a connection.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were providing that as a side activity, and
Mhm.
also supporting and basically implementing, installing networks or whole IT for a small fabrics.
Okay, okay.
After, it was a hard time, like for the first 6 months we didn't make any money, but after 6 months we had our like two customer, so it was getting some income. And it's always up and down, up and down, and I
Yeah.
had to leave and close my company and move to Austria.
Because of that, or because there was
No,
something
it
about
was some
Austria?
misunderstanding what was in my city.
Okay,
So I
okay.
left the country, I came to Austria.
Hmm.
And yeah, new language. I didn't know a word in Germany.
Oh.
So for about 2 years, I and my
Hmm.
wife, we were learning Germany, and
Hmm.
it started at the point with photos. Like, this is a hand, this is. and I. That's how we started learning Germany.
So by yourselves, you didn't go like to a course or something?
Yeah, sure we did. Sure we
Okay.
did. Like after 6 months, we had a very good progress in learning Germany.
Mm.
But sometime nobody believed that we learned so much Germany in 6 months. So I started applying for a job, but either I didn't get any reply
Mm.
or it was like, no, we cannot continue your application.
Why not?
And
Did you get any feedback? Was the language a barrier?
I think they interpreted that we cannot speak Germany good enough.
Mm.
That's what I think.
And yet do speak Deutsch.
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's me trying to speak a little bit of German for the
Yeah,
audience.
yeah, yeah. I do. I do get a very good feedback when I speak to people in Germany. So
Okay.
let's say my Germany is a little bit better than my English now.
Oh, okay. So
So
how long have you been in Austria now? For how many years?
now I'm here for about 15 years.
So I believe that on a daily basis you use German more often
Yeah,
than
yeah.
English, right?
I I do use English only for teaching, basically,
Mm,
or reading books or going to exam. I don't
okay.
use English.
At
Yeah,
all.
you see, I need like 5 to 10 minutes to get
To
hang
find the
of it and
words.
switch back to English.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see you. But even back then, when you got to Austria, you were able like to learn the language, to have a conversation in short period of time, and then you start applying for job in Austria.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't successful
Mm.
to get the job. What happened was we got offer to work in different so for a different I don't know how you call it branch,
Mm.
right? So I was working at um how you call it, we say that Werkstatt in
And my German is not that good, but
we were
okay.
restoring woods stuff,
Mm.
so furnitures.
Okay.
I did that for a year. And in that moment, there was a program, mentoring program from Austria. They basically connected leaders with mentees like me who was looking to get a job, people that already learned something, right? So there was a moment where I met, thank you, Anton, my mentor,
Mm-hmm.
and he got me opportunity in Porsche Informatik to help for 2 months. So I got the chance to show myself
Mm.
to Arbeit, to job
Okay.
and show my skills.
Okay. And you already had those skills like from a Windows perspective, like because you were already MCSE,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
had that small, I wouldn't say some experience with it also with your company. So it's not like you didn't know anything about IT. You're already a professional certified, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I did understand. I did a lot, to be honest. I was labeling cables for data center there.
Mm.
For like it was one of my tasks, right? So
Yeah.
I wasn't afraid of doing stuff. I wasn't the one that say no, I'm administrator. I
Mm.
have just to sit in front of my personal computer and do configure.
Mm.
I started basically there, and I did like a lot of tasks alone with Porsche Informatik, like documenting data center, planning. I was working with them,
Mm-hmm.
formatting old computers because there are some security restriction. Yeah, so I did a Windows XP rollout, I think, with them, I believe. And still it was hard because my training was not recognized.
Mm.
So my mentor helped me to start a training for IT program for 2 years, where it is something in Austria, I think, unique, where you have some practical and theory combined. And after that, you get some certificate which is recognized to
Okay.
every company. If someone with Germany, it's Lehre in here. It's
Mhm.
called Lehre, and it's kind of like, yeah,
It's like CCNA for Austria. A
yeah. Let's say,
certification, like something that certifies that you have the skills, but it's recognized only in Austria
yeah. Let's say. I think it's also in Germany. It
as
has
well.
a yeah.
Okay.
So in these 2 years of training, this was training for IT. So I had to know operating system, Linux server,
Hmm.
and network. So part of it was network. So I came in touch with networking again, and I was really scared because I was like, I cannot do that. I cannot learn that. My trainer said you're not good enough. And that was a moment where I started learning networking. Back
Mm.
in, I believe, 2016, I started my study for like a small part, ICND1. The CCNA was two-part back in then. I learned ICND1, and where I began, I kind of understand that my trainer was wrong. I can learn stuff and I'm pretty good at it, actually.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's interesting. So you had that thing in the back of your mind, like holding you to take a leap or to try something different besides Windows, besides administration of systems, right?
yeah. I think it was also the job opportunity which moved me towards networking.
Hmm.
I was trying to get a part-time job during the training because it was for 2 years, and yeah, you have to income a little bit more than what you get because it's hard to live, right?
Mm, yeah.
And the only free space for me was in networking department. So it was all happened at the same time. I was learning ICND1. I got opportunity to work part-time in network team. And I remember that moment, one of my colleague came to me, gave me one of those small switches, I think 2960
Hmm.
switches, and told me, can you do a basic configuration? And I said, yeah, sure. I started like configuring hostname and
Mm-hmm.
everything, and got back to him like 20 minutes after, and he was like surprised. He was like, you're finished? I said, yeah, that's what you wanted, right? And he just looked, show running config, and
Hmm.
you did more than I wanted.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, that was a moment where I thought, okay, let me go for ICND2.
Hmm.
So I start learning some routing stuff,
Yeah.
like back in then RIP, EIGRP, and all on packet tracer.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I did ICND1. I passed the exam on first attempt because I had a combination of book, training, videos, and hands-on. And then I went for ICND2.
And how was it?
I failed. I failed the first time and I got a bit disappointed. So I
Why?
came out. I remember I was watching a video from
Hmm.
Jeremy,
Yeah.
and like I was trying, to give motivation to myself.
Hmm.
And he was saying, if I remember this word, he said, if you wanna fail, fail faster.
Hmm.
Because you're gonna go through this failing disappointed at some point anyway. If you do go through it and learn failing is just part of the journey at CCNA level, you got it behind you faster.
Okay.
It was kind of his point. Continue the study, like I remember exactly, it was cloud stuff, like automation, what is new now in new CCNA.
Mm-hmm.
It was a cloud, like what are the cloud, and it was my problem. So I
Okay.
started reading everything and I got really confidence and I
Okay.
went for exam again and I failed again. I was like, the last question where you finish and then you get a pop-up. It says either congratulations
Yeah.
or you don't see anything. So
Yeah.
that moment you fail. I was like finish and I was waiting for congratulation and I was pretty fast and I see nothing came up. I was like,
Ooh.
what? But I killed it. And
You
I
thought
think it
so.
was, yeah, I thought so. And I think I was too self-confidence there.
Mm.
So I believed I didn't read the questions very carefully. That's why I failed there. That was a moment I learned, okay, even if you're really on top of it, read the questions 2 times, read the answers 3 times, take your time. You have 2.5 hours, 2 hours,
Mhm.
take that time. Nobody tell you to finish the exam in 1 hour. Even
Yeah.
if you're really good, still there are some tricky questions.
Yeah.
So, and you have to pay for each attempt, right?
It's not cheap, by the way. It's not.
Yeah, yeah. So it took me about 2.5 months to pass my
Mm.
ICND2. On third attempt, I really killed it, but I was
Okay, for three
paying attention.
attempts.
Yeah, yeah,
Guys, when they say like you want to become a CCNA in 3 months, 6 months, it depends a lot. So there is not a magic number, but don't expect to do in short time, right? So it's not a guarantee that you're going to pass, even if you have the books, if you have the videos, if you have experience. It just depends how confident and how well prepared you are actually to take the exam, and
yeah,
that's what your
exactly.
experience.
Yeah, exactly. And you should be careful with the questions. Some of them are really tricky. So read it 2 times. It's what I say to some of my students.
Hmm.
Don't get cocky. Just
Hmm.
read the questions 2 times. I know you're good, but read it, take your time.
Yeah.
So
And
that was
I don't know if Cisco allows you to go back because it probably doesn't, right? Because
no, you cannot. So on
yeah,
any written exam,
yeah,
you cannot back the question. So once you made your choice, that's
yeah,
it.
yeah. So guys, just pay attention to this. Very important.
Yeah. So yeah, I just got my CCNA and I was like, that's it. I'm a network engineer. I'm gonna stick with it. So
You're done. Okay, you're right.
yeah, I'm right. And I got then hired at Porsche Informatic exactly at that moment. That
Mm.
was the networking start for me.
Okay, okay. And just so guys have an understanding of this. First arrived at Austria, didn't start working in IT, was working something else. Then had the challenge to not only study but also to work at the same time, and then started to take the exam to pass the exam. So guys, it is not one thing that you can do like in. It wasn't quick. No, it's there was some struggle to get to the first like networking role opportunity. Don't take like it's going to be easy. No, you're going to face some challenge on the way. Okay, so you start working this company. What happened next?
Yeah, and so then I learned a lot during CCNA. I think I learned above CCNA because some pieces of information in CCNA are missing. Like you learn EIGRP, but you don't know why. And I was always person asking why is that and why is working like that.
Mm.
So I was above the CCNA, so I started my job and I was like, no, I'm not gonna go farther. Months later, I noticed I'm not gonna get far with my knowledge.
Mm.
I need more. Just to, I'm a lazy, I'm a lazy person, and I felt my job is hard. So I started learning CCNP. It was switch, route, and troubleshooting back then. It
Yeah.
was 3 exams. I had a lot of tasks with switch, so the switch exam didn't take me long. And I started that book, lapped everything, and I had a hands-on every day, configuring LACP, configuring VLAN, and name
STP,
it.
everything related with switching.
Exactly. Exactly. I finished the study and then went for switch exam. And I had experience. So
Mm.
I was reading every question 2 times and I
Mm.
nailed it.
No,
I know
that's
because
awesome.
I had a lot of experience with switches
Mm.
and I noticed my job is getting easier for me.
Mm.
And that was a motivation for me to move forward.
Mm.
And
Okay.
the interesting project what we were facing, I think helped me a lot. Of course, you have a lot of people around you which push you. I'm a lucky person. I have to say. I always faced very kind managers. So
Mm,
they played a big role in my career. They were
okay.
like, you can do it. Yeah, go for it. We need that. Like learning, when you go for a route, you
Yeah.
learn a lot of routing, but in enterprise, it's not like a service provider that you have a lot of routing
Hmm.
tasks.
Yeah.
So it was a bit harder. I learned a lot, and I took the opportunity of Cisco Live free exam. I
Mm,
think it was 2019.
okay.
I did a route exam and I failed again. And I know it is when I say I'm lucky because in Cisco Live you meet a lot of people and there are like Cisco partners there and they knew I'm going for a route exam but I'm not prepared. But they were pushing me, just do it so you get an idea. I was like,
Mm,
should I even attend the exam? And they were like, yeah, why not? It's free. Just go for it. So I did the exam. I failed, but I got one step closer to my success on next one. So it was really good advice from my friends or my colleagues. Then I took basically more responsibility at work. I was doing a first level network support back then, and after this exam, I moved to second level. So I was deciding on changing protocols or changing the topology
mm.
or optimizing basically. It was
S-
a bit more than only support.
So it was, did your responsibilities change because you start to show that you knew more, that you were growing, or because they just decide, okay, this is the time for you to start taking these responsibilities? I want to understand if because you got certified, so this was an indication like, okay, now he's ready to take this role.
I would say the certification itself helped me to be recognized,
Okay.
but what pushed me to next level was my ideas. Like I would go to retail and spot a optimizing
Mm,
point, like changing active or forwarding and blocking a spanning
mm,
tree to LACP. That so this idea I was like going to my boss and saying, here we can optimize and that would double our bandwidth usage. So
okay.
we don't only get guarantee. So I was explaining those stuff, and it was, I think, what made them to position me a bit higher.
So you demonstrated that you knew you were providing support above what was expected from you. And then
Yes.
eventually these lead to you, okay, be assigned an opportunity. Okay, you are not any longer in this level. Now you are at this level. And that's what they did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I wasn't expecting that, but I remember my boss from my boss called me and said, Omid, do you have a moment? I went to him and he said, what do you think if we put you in second level team? Are you ready for that? And I was like, what? Yeah, sure, why not?
Hmm.
And eventually, my goal was to get CCNP. And I was saying, that's it, I'm not going to go any farther. So
Okay.
when I switched to second level, there were a lot of project and changes that has to be done.
Hmm.
Like we were facing some implementing software-defined data center. So I was busy with those stuff, like learning VMware NSX software defined. I was busy with learning how the whole enterprise work. Where are we using VRFs, firewall, in learning phase in a new role. So I got a gap there and I didn't go for a second attempt on route.
Okay. Why not?
I didn't get a chance because I
Okay.
was so busy, but what I was committed to, um, 30 minutes a day studying.
Okay.
It is not much, but it make a huge difference.
Hmm.
So I still had my 30 minutes a day studying, and I was thinking maybe later. So I
Hmm.
got comfortable with my new role, and I went for a route exam again
Okay.
and I nailed it this time. I remember I came out. I did it with, I think my colleague was doing CCNA data center back then. So we had to travel like 350 kilometers away from our city. And I needed the whole 3 hours of exam. I came out and he said, Omid, you're red. Go wash your face, because it was really hard for me, a really hard exam. And I was so happy that I passed it.
I imagine. So that was still routing and switching track that you were
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. And like 2 months after, I went for a T-shoot exam. And
Mm.
I can tell it was a tasty exam. I still like that exam. Back then, it was like 20 tickets. You had to work those 20 tickets, and there was problem that you had to solve. And it was first exam, whole exam on CLI. And I was like, trace route, it was dual stack topology. I think we can't talk about that now. It's retired. And it engaged me with everything I learned, from switching,
Mhm.
EIGRP, REAP, BGP, NAT. It was like testing you on everything. So I really enjoyed that exam. I came out. I think I scored for 96. I
Hey.
don't. I still ask myself, what was those 4 points I missed?
Because you were really enjoying the exam.
Yeah, I really came out laughing, because it was like 3 hours of work. I
Yeah.
was solving problem one after one, and I knew, when you can ping something, L3, no problem, and that's what the question was asking. So for first time, I knew I solved the question.
Okay.
Because on
Okay.
any other written exam, maybe you're unsure and
Yeah.
you don't know until the end of the exam.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a fact there. Okay.
Yeah.
So by the end of 2019, you were CCNP, routing and
Yes.
switching.
Yeah.
That's something. And then, okay, I'm going to become a CCIE.
No, I thought we really that's it. I got a new colleague
Mm.
from service provider joining us. He was a really good engineer and he was really excited about wireless. His excitement made me to go after wireless. I started learning about, I just got curious because it is really interesting how wireless really work, the modulation,
Mm.
the how the speed get better during the years from 1990s to now, and what the engineers taught and implemented like in these decades. So the next Cisco Live
Mm.
was doing a CCNA wireless exam.
And how was it?
Yeah, I did prepare very well and I had hands on. So I killed it. I
Okay.
remember I knew I will pass, but I also knew I have to read the questions 2 times.
So you already learned the lesson, and that's your secret
Yeah, that's
strategy.
yeah, that's the thing. Fail faster. That's what what you learn from failing every
Hmm.
time. And I
Okay.
try to give it like to others. So yeah, yeah. And in a way back to home from Cisco Live, I remember I said to someone in airplane, he was a CCIE.
Hmm. And
And
that bugged.
yeah, this is like one of the highlight moment, right? And he was like, we were talking a little bit, and I knew I'm above CCNP. And we were talking, and I explained him if I go for CCIE, I'll do it for myself. I'm not thinking about getting more money or something. And he was like, I believe you will be CCIE someday. So he planned the
That seat.
idea, yeah, the idea, go for CCIE,
Mm.
because he was like, you're better, so why not? And it was like 2 hours of conversation. I came back and I was thinking, yeah, why not?
Mm.
Actually, I need it. We planned to having MPLS, and MPLS is a part of CCIE journey. So we designed everything, we got it to work, and I was looking at blueprint from CCIE and I was like, okay, I got this, I got this, I got this. I need to learn more, but the basics are there. And yeah, so I thought, or I decided to go for CCIE. I did spoke with my wife You know, I can, let me check. So I got this book, Your Strategy for CCIE Lab.
Okay.
That's something I would suggest to anyone
Mm.
who decides to go for CCIE because it is non-technical. It is some preparation. I read this book and first thing I did, I went to my wife and said, that's my goal. That's what gonna happen. We're gonna have to cancel every event. We're gonna see each other a little bit less, and it's gonna be hard time for a year, but it's only for 1 year. Yeah, so she was like, yeah, go for it. And that's something you need around you, supportive people. I
Okay.
spoke with my boss back then. He also gave me thumbs up. Yeah, I will support you. Go for it. And a month after, I got sick. So I was like, yeah, I'll do some kickoff. Yeah, I will start learning. And it was going, I believe, more than a month. More than a month, I was just lazy to start
Mm.
the serious progression. Yeah. So one night I sleep and I wake up and I cannot move. That was what happened to me.
Come on, man.
And I thought, okay, I was really disappointed. I was preparing myself to go for a CCIE. That was my dream at that point, and I was giving up my dreams there. So just visiting doctors after doctors, do MRI, do CT to find out, and they couldn't find what's the problem. Anyway, make it short, I
Hmm.
got through that, and I think what I learned from that moment, when you have an opportunity, don't wait for it, just take it.
Okay.
I come to that. That's I think some experience. So I got healthy again
Hmm.
after 4 or 5 months. I could run again. My job helped me a lot. So they were understanding everything, what's going on. They were patient with me, really, even though I had very high responsibility in my job. So some project was just waiting for me. But
You were really lucky.
yeah. I'm really lucky. I think whenever I looked for something, I just find the good people just coming around me.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
it was February 2023. I just marked my calendar and said, I'll start now. I made an Excel sheet
Hmm.
with a really hard plan, like working 40 hours a week and studying 40 hours a week, or maybe sometime 45.
That's
And I did it. Really, I went through that process. It got sometime more than 40. I was at 50, 55 sometime where I was labbing after going through whole INE preparation courses. Thanks, Brian and Rohit. I learned a lot and I was like very confident. Then I started to do the labs from CCIE fundament book. It
mm.
is like I can show you that as
Is
well.
it
I
the
did.
gap, the CCNP CCIE gap, or
No, it's CCIE fundamental. CCIE. That's this one.
that's from Narbik? That's the one. Narbik Kokarian.
Yeah. There's also one for a new exam. So I went through that book and like after each lab, I was feeling like my knowledge getting enhanced,
Hmm.
like better and better.
Okay.
And it was like in November 2023, I decided to schedule for exam. I thought it's time
Hmm.
to give it a go. And if I fail, I failed. But it was really hard at that moment. So I spoke to my boss and I said, I need a training leave for 4 months. And they said, okay. So that's the next big help. So I left for 4 months just to study and get ready for this exam.
Okay.
I kind of knew I won't pass at first attempt,
Okay.
so I took a bit longer leave,
Hmm.
and I think it was 8th of January where I attended my first CCIE Enterprise Lab exam. It was just me in in Brussels and some other guy.
Okay.
So it
So
was
2024, 2023.
yes,
2024.
2024. So last year. I remember it was um 8 or 5. Yeah, it was 8 o'clock. We were sitting before Cisco, and there was another guy. He told me, "Is it your first time?" I said, "Yes, actually, first attempt, first time, really excited." And I said, "What about you?" He said, "It's my fifth CCIE." I was like, "Good for you." And he started to give me some tips.
Okay.
Keep calm, nothing special will happen, you get things. And yeah, it was interesting, really. So I started the exam knowing it's first time, a lot of study before the exam, so how the exam work. I went through the whole exam preparation resources on Cisco Learning,
Hmm.
and I would suggest everyone to watch that because
Okay.
you learn about the environment of exam, about your desktop. You're getting a bit more prepared. So like the terminal you get, how the exam engine work, like these questions. If you don't know them, you will spend your whole attempt on finding stuff.
Yeah.
Just how you can extend your topology,
Yeah.
how you can have like topology question and your terminal all on top. Like you need that for exam and the resources. And it shows in these resources, there is a part, it says exam environment. I would suggest everyone to go and watch it 2-3 times before actual exam date.
Yeah.
That would help a lot. So I knew those stuff, but still I was scared. Yeah, I remember I was focusing on my exam. In Brussels, there are two proctors, and it just answer to those rumors. They are really nice persons, very supportive and very helpful. So also that proctives, I don't know, like enemy or the people that make others scared of proctors. Please forget that. If you
Yeah.
get into any problem, if you have any question, just hands up and ask them. They are really supportive and will help you to get through the exam. So I started the exam. I was just handing and smashing my keyboard, and like after 2 hours, I was looking at the guy with 5 CCIE. He stand up, went out, and did some steps, and came again and continued. So this is what I noticed afterwards, right? I was like, okay, on next attempt, I'm gonna do that. I need some breaks. So after 2 hours, I'm gonna take some breaks. I'm gonna give my mind 5 minute break and do some steps because you will start the rest of the exam more focused.
Okay.
You won't make any mistakes. And one mistake in exam and you fail. We went for a lunch, we came back, and I noticed, okay, I have only 1 hour and I'm not gonna finish the exam.
You already knew that I'm going to fail. I already failed.
Yeah, I knew that, but I also knew that I have to go through the questions. So I started to go through questions and memorize the questions. So I start reading the questions, just watching the topology to visualize the stuff and make a story for myself. And at the end, I was kind of very proud of myself. Like it was 10 minutes before exam ends, and I was like, Omid, you could have solved everything, but not in 8 hours. I
Mm.
was like, okay, I do not to dig deeper for next attempt. I just need to get faster, get more familiar with the exam environment.
Okay.
So I finished the exam, I came out, and I think everyone tell you that get your pen and paper ready to write down everything that you can remember.
Mm-hmm.
I went out, I got my mobile telephone out, and I started recording.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
don't need to write it, just record your voice. And I think 1 hour later, I had my expected result fail, but I
But
was laughing.
yeah, yeah, you already knew that.
Yeah, I was laughing and I was kind of proud because before you attempt the exam, you don't know if you're good enough or if you did study enough um, for the topics. But at that point, I knew I know everything. It's like you're going to interview and you can answer all the question. It gives you some more self-confidence. I had more self-confidence. So
Yeah.
I just came back and started to more and more labbing. And from
Hmm.
what I remember, I made Eve topology to virtualize and practice the stuff I needed for exam. And
Okay.
just going, I think I read about 10,000 pages of Cisco documentation between my first attempt and second attempt. The first part of exam, the design, it's like any other written exam, but I mean, you cannot go backward.
Yeah.
So you decide, have to say, I really enjoyed that part again because it is like watching a series. You get an email,
Yeah.
you get resources, and based on that you have to decide what's the right answer, but they are like very tricky questions. You have to know about default behavior of some stuff, so
Yeah.
it is like really details which make difference. So I was digging into also Cisco documentation, Cisco Live documentation about SDA, SD-WAN, the design guide, the CVDs, and on just scheduled for the second attempt.
How long did it take you from the first to the second attempt?
1.5 months
Okay. You
because
didn't
I
want to
had,
lose momentum, right?
yeah, it was because I was not working at this time,
Mm-hmm.
so I was just pushing those 80-85 hours a week,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe even more, on learning and basically enhancing my knowledge.
Okay.
I had a lot of time. I know it was a lot of pressure in that moment. Sometimes I just needed to sleep
Mm.
because I couldn't do any more, and I was
Mm-hmm.
sleeping like 3 hours at night, and
Yeah.
that was it. Yeah,
You had to do what you had to do, and you
yeah,
already knew the price to pay from the first attempt to the second attempt. So you already knew how much more you had to do.
yeah. So, and it was like at that moment I joined Orhan Boot Camp
Mm-hmm.
just to get refreshed on everything,
Mm.
get in contact with other CCIEs that are going to attend the exam. And it worked. I got in touch with some people that had like 4, 5 attempt experience. And we were just sharing our experience about the exam. Like they didn't do the new version, but like those small stuff, like the environment, what
Mm-hmm.
are you allowed to do, like on exam, about time management, which is very important on exam. That's something I try to give to others. Have a plan for your exam, like know every minute, know when you're going for a coffee,
Yeah, that's
when
important.
you're, yeah, know that if you have to go to toilet, don't wait, just go, because you're losing focus. No, those experience we were just exchanging between us,
Mm-hmm.
and also exchanging materials we had. Like
Okay.
I found some friends in America, I found some friends in Portugal,
Mm.
and they had like SD-WAN complete build or
Okay.
SDA complete build, which gave me opportunity to even practice more on those stuff. I had a server at my home,
Mm-hmm.
but if you want to virtualize everything, you have to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's not affordable,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not at all. Especially SDN solution takes a lot.
Yeah, and you cannot try those stuff on production because you need lab for that.
You need the lab.
Yeah. So yeah, just exchanging with them, like conversation. Sometime because my friend was from America, either he stood up early or I didn't go to sleep early. So it was like 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. working together, finding small details about the stuff, like BGP dumping, for
Mm.
example.
Yeah.
It wasn't like part of the exam, but as a CCIE, they expect you to know like everything.
Yeah. You don't know what they're going to ask you about the BGP or SPF, so you just try to know everything as much as possible.
Yeah, and then verify what we thought it's true.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that was, I think, a very, very nice group to join on, get
Okay.
a lot of resources and ideas. And it was February where I went for my second attempt, and this time
Hmm.
equipped it with everything.
And you got it.
I went in, there were more people attending,
Okay.
and I failed again, obviously. I thought I answered every question this time,
Hmm.
like every question, and I thought maybe I passed, but the result was really disappointing.
Hmm.
Was missing very small details again. I
Okay.
mean, for the time, again, I was proud that I finished all question this time,
Mhm.
but when I look back, because I know I made mistake.
Okay. That's
I
very
didn't,
important.
yeah, like when they are asking you something with multicast, you have to know those small details, right? And I was missing those. So I came back, and at this point, I had no money left. I was like, I'm gonna push it no matter what. At this point, my friend went to exam, so one of people in our group,
Hmm.
and he passed the exam, and I had also scheduled for March 2023, 2024,
Hmm.
and I knew it's not gonna be easy. Again, I had really pressure, and my leave was ending soon, so I had to pass the exam because
Yeah.
it was again work and um, have the study together, and it was kind of impossible. Yeah, so for the third time I went to exam. I pay attention to every detail. I did everything right. I had some question to proctors.
Hmm.
They helped me. We had to discuss something because in my opinion was there was some mistakes in questions, and he was like, no, the question is right, you're doing it wrong. But again, they are very supportive, and if they cannot solve your problem, they will ask someone else. So he went to his phone and he called someone else to get answer for me. They are answering every question.
Hmm.
So I noted the things that I thought are not right on the exam, the feedback you can give, and left the exam, and I didn't receive the answer for 2 days. I thought, okay, it's very nice because if you get like you don't get the result, I might have passed, and I failed again.
Come on, then.
It was end of world for me. I couldn't afford next attempt because I was
Hmm.
already,
Yeah.
yeah,
Two
below.
thousand already, probably 6 to 10,000. Uh,
Exactly.
yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, so I was very angry. I have to say that I I made a ticket to Cisco about all my concerns,
Hmm.
what I think, and the CCIE enterprise program manager got back to me. I said, look, I believe I had to pass this attempt because I was really doing it right. I had about 1 hour left at this time, and I went through everything. Everything was working as expected. And I
Hmm.
know I did copy, run, start at every device. So I cannot afford to reread. I did have a chance to read it, so it wasn't that bad. Sometimes, you feel that bad that you cannot even do a reread. And he just did reread for me. And like a month or 20 days after he came back to me with a result of pass. So yeah, I am one of those reread passing people.
That's the first one I'm listening to this.
Yeah, so this is like my CC.
Yeah.
But what I want to show to people that are watching, that was what I got on my wall, and I couldn't pass it. Behind the CCIE, there are the failure I had every time. And again, I made next commitment and went for the exam again. So if you're not passing first time, it's really completely normal. You didn't miss anything. It doesn't mean you're not good enough, or it doesn't mean, it just means you have to push it harder, spend more time, do a little bit more. It is like for the practical exam of CCIE, there are sometimes really small details you have to change, and then you pass.
That's a wild story. So crazy. that I still can't believe that you decided to take another one.
Yes. So I was like, I remember I was talking to my friend. I said, never again. I won't go for that journey again. It was so painful. I mean, it was worth it, but it come with a lot of pains. I said, never again. No,
No
just
way.
no. No. Yeah. I was like for until June, I was like, just no. And then I had a chance to attend Cisco Live Las Vegas. And I met Rohit from INE
Mm-hmm.
at CCIE party. And we were just exchanging, and I was telling him about my journey, and he said, you learned much more than you needed for the CCIE. If I were you, I would go for another CCIE because you already know the stuff for data center, VXLAN, and I was like, no, no, never again. And exact in this moment, Cisco did a research program which was about Nexus dashboard, implementing Cisco Nexus dashboard. I did finish that course just to get the credits for my recertification, and I was thinking about CCDE because my job role was designing stuff. So that was making more sense. I read the CCDE written book and I was like, Rohit was right. There are a lot of things that I already know. I went for exam and I passed
The written
the
CCD.
yeah, the written CCDE. So I was like, okay, I have a Orhan boot camp because it come for like 1 or 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I enjoy it actually. It's like a habit of learning for me now. I don't know what to do if I don't learn.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking, yeah, let me continue CCDE, and I changed my job to City Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, at that moment, I was studying for CCDE, but I learned about our job requirement, like what we will need in next project. It was more of the data center knowledge.
Okay.
So I started learning ACI, and it's whole a new world. ACI is like thinking network differently. I was really lost at the beginning, and my friend Muhammad helped me to get hang of the ACI. So he was like making stuff understandable for me. Like I was trying to just have some examples in normal networking, so the traditional, but the ACI is basically application centric. So yeah, it is different.
Totally.
So I was
You have the
studying.
underlay, but ACI is not about the underlay.
Yeah, yeah. So I was the wrong thing what I was doing. I was comprisoning it with networking what I learned, right? And at some point I understood you cannot say, okay, you have a LACP, you have a VPC, you have everything, but at some point the logic networking is not the same as you do on classic networking. And that was a point where I started to look at it from other point of view, and in 1 week I got much better in ACI. Cisco Live again. Thanks for free exam. I did the ACI exam and I passed it. I was like, I'm just gonna attend the ACI and see how it goes. But because of my strong background in designing, and ACI was also basically SDN, software defined networking, is part of the CCDE, and the strong foundation of normal networking and some hands-on on ACI. I used the ACI simulator to practice everything. I passed the ACI.
Just with ACI simulator.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
I
that's great.
had other labs too.
Yes, but on a daily basis, easy to spin up.
No, no, no,
Okay.
I didn't have that one. I watched like 3 different courses
Okay.
for ACI because I really was in struggling to learn how the things are working. Like you're getting from networking to policy
Yep.
based networking.
Yeah. It's
It is a bit different. Like you do a profiles and then you can reassign the profile. You know the stuff.
I know layer two out, layer three out, and it's just a different environment. That's a different
Yeah,
story.
yeah, that's
Okay.
a different story. So after this, I couldn't help it but thinking about the suggestion or advice of Rohit.
Hmm.
Like I had ACI, I had software defined networking, and I did a lot with Nexus Dashboard, which is a yeah, very nice product to be honest, over everything. So I implemented also Nexus Dashboard in our company just to yeah to monitor, and I had a bit of hands-on on Nexus dashboard. So I was looking at blueprint of the data center. What I was missing were basically storage and compute. And
Hmm.
because of my background with compute, I had like a lot of it covered. So I started INE again, going through everything and got some books and just yeah, and just it's the second time you go, you know the routine you need the
Hmm.
requirement, what you have to do to get to the point where you go for an exam. So
Okay.
it's like this, yeah, you know when you're ready,
Yeah.
right?
It's not like because it's not your first time. Then you already know when. Okay, I at this level I got it.
Exactly, and you cannot miss any detail, so you pay attention on second one to small details.
Hmm.
And like you can use Cisco documentation, and you know when to use Cisco documentation during the exam. I think that's a big point,
Hmm.
because on design part for a CC data center, there are some like questions like LACP. Those you can just click through, but there are some tricky question where those small details are required, and you have to
You
look,
have to know, really. You
you
really have
have
to.
to go for Cisco documentation,
Mm.
because else you cannot know this question from your heart. Like
Mm.
you need those details now, and there you start Cisco documentation and you look at it and you give the answer.
Okay. Okay. Great tip.
Yeah, and I know like there was a question, two answers were really close to each other. It's
Okay.
again for rumors about proctors. I called the proctor and I said, "Look, I don't understand. Those two answers are really close, but according to Cisco documentation, I cannot choose. Like you have to choose two, but three answer is actually right." And they helped me to understand my my missing part in English,
Okay.
basically. So where I have to pay attention. So they are really helpful.
Okay. And
And yeah, it was a nightmare at the end. The hours was ticking like 10, 9. And I was waiting for something to boot. I asked Proctor if he could give me another 10 minutes. He said no, it's not fair. But he told me if you did it right, it's gonna boot, you're gonna pass. And
okay.
oh, you're gonna get the score. He didn't say you're gonna
But you're gonna get the
uh
score for that test.
yeah, so it was on Friday, and the exam just got ended.
Mm.
I went home and I had nightmare about this moment, like 10, 9, 8, and the exam ended. I didn't know if I finished it correctly or not, but
Okay.
was very, very surprised that I managed to pass on the first attempt this time.
That was something. So that struggle that you had with the first exam actually prepared you for this other exam on getting
Yeah,
a
exactly.
CCNA data
Yeah,
center.
exactly.
Okay, so man, there is a lot there that happened. This is not for people with weak hearts. Like you really have to be someone with a growth mindset, like through to go through all these ups and downs and always come up with the best possible scenario, like being really optimistic about I'm going to get in the next time, I'm going to get in the next time, and don't quit no matter what, right? And you did it. So if you had to, because we're close to the end, if you had to guide someone to follow your path, whether this person wants to get into IT or wants to get a CCIE, what are the steps that you would recommend to this person? Like, real quick and very short, how would you recommend someone to do the same as you did, but without the mistakes? Although the mistakes are part of the journey.
Yeah, I remember my conversation with one of my boss. He told me at some point, Omid, I don't know when did you get that good. So I would say I answered him, half hour a day studying make a huge difference. So have discipline and remove the option of giving up.
Mm.
If you have a passion about IT, if you enjoy changing stuff, installing, implementing stuff, you will eventually get there. Just keep it on. Don't listen to naysayers. It's what happened to me. I had a 10 years or 11 years of gap. I didn't go for networking because I thought I cannot. So if you think it's right thing for you, just have discipline, go for it and keep working. Don't be afraid of asking others for help. I mean, if you don't ask for help, you don't get help. If you ask, you may hear no, but you tried. And the next person maybe help you. So you're not alone. If you're watching this, there are a lot of good people out there that will help you, will guide you, and even you get resources. I got my labs, I got my like knowing other people helped me to save a lot of money because they were providing me with resources which I had to pay. So just keep going. That's my message.
That's great. And if I got to mention also that you've been coaching those who want to become CCIE or probably grow professionally with Cisco certifications or probably other certifications. So I'm going to share your profile on the end of this video. And you also have a YouTube channel, right?
Yes, I'm sharing a YouTube channel with my good friend Muhammad Imani. And basically, after CCIE data center, I was thinking, what's next, right? And we started teaching on this channel. We started with CCNA series, and we will continue into ACI probably.
Okay, okay. That's great, man. That was a pleasure to have you. And I hope we can get you again for the second round. And so until the next time, thanks, man.